Yeah, oh. Yeah, 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 oh. Well, aha, 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 aha. Yeah, oh. Na, 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 na. Yeah, 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 oh. Yeah, oh. It constantly amazes me how one random man can stand on a stage, shout out some random notes, cup his ear, and the audience sing back those notes to him. For years, I have been doing this, and every single time I just go, what is wrong with you people? Following along like sheep. But the truth of the matter is this: you were all born singers. Now I hear a chuckle in the audience, like, never. Me? Yes, indeed you are all and were all born singers, because I know this to be true. Throughout the history of the world, none of you, when you came out of the womb, be it via the birth canal or via cesarean section, you did not come out of the womb and say, my goodness, it's chilly out here. And why is it so bright? And why are there so many people looking at me? Don't cut that! Instead, you took your first inhalation. That first breath, and you exhaled on a beautiful cry. Like, once again, a random man tapping his ear. That beautiful cry, the basis of your singing voice, is what you would then go on to use to ask for some more of that tasty milk that still has residue on your chin. You would use that cry, the basis of your singing voice, to exclaim that you needed your nappy changed. You would use that cry, the basis of your singing voice, to tell the world and anyone who would hear that you are here. You used that cry, your voice, the basis of your singing voice, to survive. In my work on the BBC series, Our Dementia Choir with Vicky McClure, we brought together people living with dementia to sing in a choir. Now, the science was very clear throughout the show that all of those wonderful feelings that you get when you sing, the endorphins that are released, and all of those wonderful things bring people to life. But would that be the same for people living with dementia? Indeed, it is, and we have seen over the years and in rehearsals even still now that these members sometimes come into the sessions feeling and looking a little down. You can see that they are not as comfortable as you would want them to be. But I will tell you now, as soon as the music begins, as soon as they start using their voices, they become alive again. Their faces change, their postures change, the smiles come onto their faces. And it is in those moments that I am once again encouraged by this thing we call singing. Encouraged by music to bring life to people. But it's not just only those people living with dementia. It is the carers, the friends, the family that all bring them to the sessions. Because as you know, as like just now I got you all singing, right? In a session with me, it's not just those people who are in the choir that are going to sing, but the whole room has to get involved. Because I know that those carers who find it difficult to care for people living with dementia, they need some light in their life too. And so the room is filled with singing at every single session, because it is a joy to see and a joy to hear people singing, because the power of singing together for me is unquestionable. Carers at the end of the session will always talk about how they feel lighter. How they feel lighter having come into the session feeling slightly heavier than they wanted to feel. But at the end of the session, they feel lighter. And they always then tell us that as the week goes on or the rest of the day goes on, that those people that they care for are still in their happy place. And that can go on for a few days. Our rehearsals are every other week, so it takes a little bit of time for them to get to a place where they need to come back. But I want them there. If I could have them there every single day, I would. Those people living with dementia and their carers, friends and family, are singing for survival. In my community choir, we have a completely non-auditioned choir. Now that might sound scary to many of you, but for me, I want anybody and everybody to come in, regardless of where you are from, regardless of your ability, regardless of your age. I want people in the room. Because it's really important for me that everybody is given that voice to sing, given that voice to express how they feel in that moment, and they do that every single week. I am constantly amazed by the connections that are formed through singology. I saw two young ladies talking once, and they'd been there for 2 or 3 weeks, and I said, did you guys know each other before you came to choir? And they said, no, we just met each other last week. But that level of connection that happens through the idea of singing together is so very clear for me. Now, there was another lady that said to me recently that the choir feels more like family than her own. And that broke my heart a little bit. But it also made me feel like that we are doing something to help each and every person in that room. Each of those choir members are singing for survival. But there's one gentleman that I'm going to talk about that is in our choir. He came on the first day with his wife. And he came up to me and he said, shook my hand, he said, yes, hi, how you doing? I said, I'm very well, thank you. You here? And he said, yes, looking forward to it. I said, okay. He said, but I'm only going to be here for 1 term. Maybe 2. So I said, okay, cool, no problem, that's fine. After 2, you can leave, it's fine. He came back for the 3rd term, and the 4th term, the 5th term, the 6th term, the 7th term, the 8th term, the 9th term. He's been there now for 6 years and loving every minute of it. Because those connections that you make in that moment are ones that can continue on throughout the rest of your life. Recently, he faced some health challenges. And in talking to his wife, I said, how's he getting on? And she said, Mark, the thing that gets him through is the songs he sings in the choir. Through all his assessments and tests and everything that happens throughout this period of his life, it is the songs from the choir that help him to get through. He is singing for survival. I work as the voice coach on The Masked Singer. Yeah, that crazy show that nobody watches. I'm joking. And I am regularly amazed by the people who come in, the celebrities who come in, that have a story to tell. And I'm always getting these free concerts from some of the best singers that you have ever seen in the world. In actual fact, they're not actually free, because me and this person sit in the room, so it's free to me, but they actually pay me to sit in that room and listen to people like Gregory Porter, which was an absolute joy. Now, the singers, we'll put those aside for a second. They're wonderful. They've been doing it for a while. But the other celebrities, like the comedians, the actors, the sports people, they come in to do this show for fun. Now, my style of coaching is that I'm always going to ask you, what does this song mean? What does it mean to you? What's the story behind it? Why have you chosen it? And it is those times that I see that what these celebrities want to do is they just want to communicate something that they feel. And often the connections are that it's a time in their life that they were struggling, or it was a time in their life when they felt such gratitude. It could be one of a number of different ideas, but they want to communicate that song with utter truth. And the beauty of the show is they can do that behind a massive mask. So they don't have to worry about what their faces look like. Each and every one of these celebrities are singing for survival. Now, this isn't a new idea. For years, people have sung through adversity. People have had issues and problems and situations, and a song will come on the radio, they'll sing it, and they'll make them feel better. That is the power of singing. But I'll go as far back as the Bible. There was a story in the Bible which I love. As a choir director, as a voice coach, it's one of my favourite stories, and I'm going to tell it to you right now. If you do know it, then just close your ears, okay? You've heard it already. King Jehoshaphat was told that he was about to be attacked by 3 different armies on the same day. Pretty tough, right? He didn't have enough military to beat one army, and he's now being attacked by 3. So he gets all of his army officers together and he says, well, what do we do? And they say, well, we can put out the infantry, they're skilled in hand-to-hand combat, and, we could do this, and blah, blah. And he says, no. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to send out the choir. And the choir, who are at the back at the moment, they're just kind of getting their robes ready because, they're just trying to set up for the service later on in the day. They look around like, he's joking, right? You want us to go out and do what? Knives? No. Go out and sing. So the choir go out and they sing. And believe it or not, they win the battle. Now you might think that they sang so badly that the other armies just kind of fell about in laughter and were just like, what? Forget these guys. That's the story that I think most people would find funny. But I'm not even going to tell you the real reason as to why they won the battle. But the truth of the matter is that oneness, that togetherness of those people out there singing, for me, is what won the battle. Because those people had their lives to save. They were singing for survival. See this guy here on the left? That's a 15-year-old Mark De-Lisser. In his lovely shell suit, it was trendy back then. And he's standing beside 2 of his best friends at the time, and they were in their first group called Special FX. But Mark De-Lisser had a problem. His problem was that this picture represented where he wanted to be in life. But his society and the people around him within his culture couldn't see a future in that. They couldn't see a future in him making music. They couldn't see a future in him conducting choirs. They couldn't see a future in him singing or getting other people to sing. Mark De-Lisser had a problem. So through many years, and it was exactly 10 years of failed degrees, not doing music. Through many years of jobs, not doing the thing he wanted to do. After those 10 years, he said, enough is enough. I need to survive. And so he made the step. His parents weren't happy. People around him weren't happy. But he had to do the thing that he needed to do for himself to survive. And I'm here today, right now, having done so many years, I can't remember how many, 22, 23 years, teaching people to sing, bringing people together to sing, teaching people that you have a voice and therefore you should use it. The power of the voice is clear, to bring you from a place to another place, to lift you from the down to the up. The voice is powerful to do that. And I want to encourage everyone here to continue singing. That is my mission. So Mark De-Lisser went from having a problem to being a problem. And the problem that Mark De-Lisser now is you have a problem. Because sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. So your problem is now that you've got to sing this. Okay? On your feet for me, please. Yeah, that's right, that means stand. So, all you high singers, you're gonna go, sometimes in our lives, with me, we all have pain. Low singers down here. We all have sorrow, but, if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Always tomorrow. Okay, alright, hold there. That's your rehearsal. Let's now sing it with gusto. Are you ready? Here we go, from the top. Sometimes in our lives. 1, 2, 3, go. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrow. We all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Oh, let's do the chorus. Lean on me. You know it. Here we go. Lean on me when you're not strong. When you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long. It won't be long. Till I'm gonna need. Watch me. Somebody to lean on. Give yourselves a round of applause. Have a seat. If you are singing, keep doing it. If you are not singing, why? Super important for you guys to get involved in singing. I guarantee you, I've been doing it for so long. And it is one of the best things that you can do. Okay, there's other things that you can do, of course, but make singing part of your life. Because I'm here surviving because I chose it. Thank you.